antagonists in such a situation. Right now, the other party is complaining that this, whatever happened in Nairobi, is a declaration of hostility from Nairobi. Bwana Sosion suggests that this is a situation like the SPLA, SPLM conflict. But back then, I remember even in the Machakos process, both parties were involved in the talks. This time around, we're seeing one party being given space in Nairobi, and the other party is complaining that that is actually unfair. Do you agree with this headline on the Star, that this was a reckless move by Nairobi?
This headline is very, very true. It is apt because, Fred, there's what we call principles of everything. There are principles on business, on politics, on war, on relationships, on everything. If you go against principles of international relations, there are some principles. You know, here let's talk about principles so that the person we are talking to can understand. If you break the principles on peace and conflict, resolution, or international relations, you are about to be broken by it. Mm-hmm. If you break any principles. Now, one of the basic principles in issues like this is what we call dialogue, consensus, bring people together, everybody feeling comfortable, mm-hmm. right? Now, that's why already we have broken those rules. We have broken the principle because the moment I read in depth the statement from the Sudan Armed Forces, the General Burhan, and then I read the response by the minister here. It doesn't make sense. When you are accused of being a hostile partner, you are not trusted anymore. Remember, Kenya was thrown out of the Nairobi process because Sudan said they don't trust Nairobi. Mm-hmm. Already that's very important. We were thrown out. We are saying here we are peacemakers. We were thrown out. We couldn't be trusted. Because he said that there's a lot of personal relationship mm-hmm. between the leader here, General Hamidi, and the president. Mm-hmm. So the Sudan people said we don't want. Look at a parallel. So that we try to look at what ails our IR, what ails our international relations, so that we don't just pick one thing and run with it. It's good for people to understand where we are coming from. Look at what happened with us and DRC Congo. The same thing happened. We allowed some alliances to be launched in Nairobi. Immediately there was a diplomatic tiff, right? The ambassador was sent home. The same thing that happened with Sudan. The ambassador was recalled, our head of mission was summoned. Even today, the president of DRC has never accepted, the new ambassador mm-hmm. because of the tensions. Surely, why is it we are messing in Somalia, we are messing in Sudan, we are messing in Rwanda, we don't know our relationship with Kagame, we are messing, it's not right. Meaning there is a problem. Let's first of all agree, principally, Fred, there is a problem with our foreign policy, a problem with how we relate with other nations, a problem with how we handle peace and conflict in the region. That has contributed to what you saw in Addis. Because there are some people who are thinking, we can't trust this. Mm-hmm. Remember, she killed now after he has never trusted Kenya. So he ran to SADC saying, I cannot get any justice from EAC. Mm-hmm. He's a member of EAC. He ran to SADC, said, I can't get any justice. And what happened? Ramaphosa and team, 16 countries, seemed to buy his idea. Mm-hmm. And they wrote that letter. And you saw the effect. So surely, whatever you try to do here, well, Kenyans can bear with you and say, fine, we cannot run away. We don't have another country. But the moment you take the bad manners to regional areas and international, you are going to be punished. Okay. So what we are saying, this is wrong. It breaks all the principles. If you want to be an arbiter, call everyone. But when you are seen to be hosting one arm in State House, right? And you have some suspected issues together personal, and then you use that to host, definitely it is dead. Actually, let me just put it, let me put it this way. Why even Kenya cannot have any deal over Sudan is that already we are suspected mm-hmm. of being siding with one person. So it is done. Yes. We were kicked out of Sudan process. So all what we are seeing here is just trying to push, trying to force. Actually, I would rather we stop it because we are fueling the fire mm-hmm. in Sudan. We would rather just say we are not involved because we cannot be trusted. Actually, they may take this process to maybe Tanzania or Rwanda or somewhere else. Okay. It is wrong. It's not right. And what we are doing, we are simply overexposing ourselves mm-hmm. and our lack of capacity to be what we used to be many years ago. During the times of people like Kalonzo Musyoka, during the times of General Subeyo, what they used to do, how Kenya used to be perceived is no longer what we are today.
And it's good that you mentioned Kalonzo Musyoka, yes, and his efforts in as far as diplomatic relations where Kenya is involved are known. Bwana Sosion, do you agree? Because Bwana Mbae has mentioned it, that and Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka also indicated that even our failure at the AUC last Saturday could have something to do with our diplomatic relations, that there's a long list of decisions